All right, getting ready for a poultry catcher interview.
Seems like you're not afraid to get your hands a little dirty.
And you like working with animals,
All
right?
right, on this deep dive, we're going to help you nail that interview.
We're using RoleCatcher's guides to really break things down.
We're going to tackle those tough questions.
We'll give you some actionable advice.
And, really help you stand out.
And here's where it gets really interesting.
We'll also touch on how RoleCatcher's AI
Can be your secret weapon in this whole process.
You know what's fascinating is the role of a poultry catcher.
It's more crucial than a lot of people think.
It's not just about, catching chickens.
It's about ensuring their well-being.
Maintaining the biosecurity of the entire farm.
It's really like the foundation
Of a healthy and productive poultry operation.
Okay, so let's start by understanding exactly what a poultry catcher does.
Right.
According to RoleCatcher's definition,
Uh-huh.
it involves humanely catching and handling poultry
Making sure that they are safe during transportation
and maintaining a clean.
and biosecure work environment
You're essentially responsible for the bird's well-being.
during these crucial stages of their life cycle.
Before we dive into the interview questions,
Yeah.
let's quickly touch on RoleCatcher's AI tools.
Okay.
These can be a real asset
Oh, yeah.
in your preparation.
Absolutely.
Imagine having a virtual coach helping you tailor your resume
Identify skill gaps
and even practice those interview answers.
with AI-powered feedback.
That's what RoleCatcher brings to the table.
It's a game changer.
Okay, that sounds super helpful.
Yeah.
Especially for someone like me who gets a little nervous before interviews.
I hear you.
So let's get into the nitty-gritty of those interview questions.
All right, let's do it.
One that seems to come up a lot is, what inspired you to become a catcher?
Yeah, it's a classic.
It's a classic opener.
It might seem straightforward, but the interviewer is looking for genuine passion.
Not just some rehearsed response.
You need to think about what truly drew you to this work.
Is it a love for animals?
An interest in agriculture.
The satisfaction of working in a hands-on role?
Let that genuine interest shine through.
What if they follow up with, what specific aspects of working with poultry appeal to you?
That's where you can dive deeper.
Maybe you're fascinated by poultry behavior.
Or maybe you appreciate the fast-paced physical nature of the work.
Connect your response to your personal interests.
Highlight how those skills align with what the role demands.
So it's all about showing that you've thought about this career path
You've got to show them.
and that you're genuinely excited about working with poultry.
Exactly.
Now let's move on to another common question.
Okay.
How do you handle high-pressure situations on the field?
The dreaded pressure question.
Everyone wants to know how you'll react when things get tough.
Right. Here, a concrete example is your best friend.
Oh, interesting.
Think of a time when you faced a challenge. Maybe in a previous job or even a personal situation where you had to stay calm and find a solution.
Right.
Describe the situation, your actions, and the positive outcome.
And I imagine it's important to connect that example back to the poultry catcher role.
Absolutely. Maybe you had to quickly adapt to a change in schedule,
No?
handle an unexpected animal situation, or work effectively under a tight deadline.
The interviewer wants to see.
How your past experiences demonstrate your composure and problem-solving skills.
In a relevant context,
Right.
preparation is key.
Yeah,
Having a few go-to stories
absolutely.
that showcase your abilities in these areas can really make you stand out.
Make you memorable.
Speaking of preparation,
Yeah.
you mentioned RoleCatcher's AI tools earlier.
Right?
How can those help with answering these specific questions?
That's where those tools become incredibly powerful.
Okay.
RoleCatcher's AI can analyze the job description and provide tailored feedback
Oh, wow.
on your interview answers.
yours.
So let's say you're tackling this high-pressure situation question. Yeah. The AI can assess your response and suggest ways to make it more impactful,
Interesting.
ensuring you highlight the skills most relevant to this particular role.
It's like having a personalized coach,
It is.
helping you fine-tune your responses for maximum impact.
That's it.
Now, let's face it, working as a poultry catcher isn't always easy.
No.
It's physically demanding,
Yeah.
and there are challenges involved.
Yeah.
How can I address that in an interview?
That's a great point.
It's important to be realistic about what this job entails.
Absolutely.
And interviewers will want to know that you understand that.
Of course.
Luckily, RoleCatcher's Catcher FAQs
Yeah.
outline some of these realities.
Right.
For example, the work is largely outdoors,
Uh-huh.
so being prepared for various weather conditions is crucial.
Right. You can't be afraid of getting a little dirty.
Or working in the heat, cold, or rain.
Exactly.
It also involves a good deal of physical activity.
Yes.
including lifting, bending, and repetitive movements.
Right.
Being upfront about your physical capabilities
And any limitations.
is important.
Yeah.
So highlighting your physical fitness and stamina during the interview would be a smart move.
Absolutely.
And then there's the critical element of biosecurity.
Uh-huh.
Poultry farms have strict protocols to prevent the spread of diseases,
Yes.
and you'll need to be meticulous about following them.
You need to be.
This might involve wearing protective gear
Sanitizing equipment?
and adhering to specific movement patterns within the farm.
They're very strict.
So attention to detail and a commitment to following procedures are crucial in this role.
Absolutely are.
And interviewers may ask directly about your understanding of biosecurity measures
Uh-huh.
or how you've implemented them in past roles.
For sure.
Okay, so being prepared to discuss your experience with or knowledge of these procedures is essential.
It is.
But what about the long-term picture? Where can a poultry catcher role lead in terms of career advancement?
Now, this is where it gets interesting.
All right.
The RoleCatcher Career Guide
Okay.
outlines several potential paths.
Okay.
With experience, you could move into supervisory roles, leading and training teams of catchers.
Right.
This shows leadership potential.
Which interviewers might be keen to hear about.
Yeah.
So even at the entry level, showcasing leadership qualities like teamwork, communication, and problem solving
Yes.
can plant the seeds for future growth.
Absolutely.
You could also pursue further education
Yeah.
in poultry science, animal care, or agricultural management.
Exactly.
This specialized knowledge can open doors to roles like hatchery worker or farm manager,
All right.
positions that require a deeper understanding of the industry.
Uh-huh.
So it's like building a solid foundation as a catcher
That's right.
and then using that experience to branch out into different areas of poultry farming.
It is.
And let's not forget the power of networking.
Oh, that's so important.
Connecting with other professionals in the industry
Yeah.
can open doors to opportunities
Absolutely.
you might not even be aware of.
That's right.
RoleCatcher, for instance,
Uh-huh.
has network management tools that can help you organize your contacts.
And build meaningful professional relationships.
So networking is key.
It is.
Building those relationships and staying connected
Uh-huh.
can open doors to advancement
Keep you in the loop.
and keep you informed about industry trends.
For sure.
Let's get back to those interview questions.
Okay.
What are some other common ones that our listeners should be prepared for?
Well, one that often comes up is, what are the responsibilities of a catcher?
Right.
This is a chance to showcase your knowledge of the role's day-to-day tasks.
Referencing those catcher FAQs I
Yeah.
mentioned earlier.
Can be super helpful here.
So I could talk about tasks like humanely catching and handling poultry, preventing injury during transport, maintaining a clean work area, and following biosecurity protocols.
It's all about demonstrating a practical understanding of the
Yeah,
job.
exactly.
Another common question is, what skills are required to be a catcher?
Oh, this is a good one.
This is where you can highlight those transferable skills,
Yeah,
even if you haven't been a poultry catcher before.
it's true.
So I can talk about my physical stamina, my attention to detail,
My ability to work quickly and efficiently.
and maybe even experience handling animals in other contexts.
Precisely, and don't underestimate the importance of those soft skills.
Things like communication,
Teamwork,
problem solving,
positive attitude,
are highly valued in any workplace.
including poultry farms.
Right. It's about showing them you're not just a pair of hands
You're a valuable team member.
who can contribute to the farm's overall success.
Exactly. Now, let's dive into another question that might seem a little unexpected.
Okay.
Have you ever had to mentor or train a junior catcher?
Interesting.
I haven't had that specific experience,
Okay.
but I have helped colleagues in other roles learn new tasks.
Oh, that's great.
Would that be relevant?
It absolutely would.
Okay.
Even if you haven't formally mentored someone,
Huh.
think about times when you've shared your knowledge
Guided others.
or taken on a leadership role in a team setting.
So it's about demonstrating those leadership qualities,
Yeah.
even in informal situations.
Exactly.
I can talk about my communication skills, my ability to explain concepts clearly.
And your patience in helping others learn.
Exactly.
And they might even ask, what would your approach be to training a new catcher on proper handling techniques?
Okay.
This is your chance to showcase your understanding of best practices
Right.
and your ability to effectively share that knowledge with others.
So I could talk about the importance of patience, Clear communication.
Demonstrating proper techniques.
Providing constructive feedback. It's like painting a picture of myself as a responsible and supportive team member.
You got it. Now, this next question might throw you for a loop.
Okay.
What is your approach to studying the opposing team before a game?
Wait a minute. Are we talking about baseball here?
I know it sounds strange,
Yeah.
but hear me out.
Okay.
This question is designed to gauge your ability to research,
Okay.
analyze, and prepare.
Uh,
It's about showcasing your proactive nature and your commitment to continuous learning.
okay. I see where you're going with this.
Yeah,
Instead of a baseball team, we're talking about poultry breeds, right?
exactly.
Okay.
Successful catchers need to understand different poultry breeds, their unique behaviors,
Uh-huh.
and the best handling techniques for each.
So just like a baseball player studies their opponent.
You would research the opponent, in this case, the poultry you'll be working with.
All right.
Makes sense.
So I could talk about how I would research different breeds, their temperaments, any specific handling considerations.
And maybe even common health issues to watch out for.
Right.
Precisely.
It shows the interviewer,
That you're not just willing to learn.
but that you take the initiative to seek out knowledge and prepare yourself for any situation.
That's right. And of course, RoleCatcher's AI tools can help you prepare for this type of question too.
Okay.
Imagine being able to input the specific poultry breeds mentioned in the job description and instantly receive relevant information and insights.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
It takes all the guesswork out of research
it does.
and ensures that you're focusing on the most relevant information for that particular farm.
Exactly. Now let's tackle another seemingly out-of-place question.
Okay.
How do you work with the coaching staff to develop a game plan?
Again, think beyond the sports analogy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm starting to get the hang of this.
Good.
So instead of coaches,
Uh-huh.
we're talking about supervisors or farm managers, right?
You got it.
Okay.
This question is about demonstrating your ability to collaborate.
Communicate effectively.
And contribute to the farm's overall success.
Right.
So I could talk about my willingness to take direction,
Uh-huh.
my ability to follow instructions.
And my proactive approach to suggesting ideas or solutions.
Exactly.
You want to showcase your ability to work as part of a team
Understand the farm's goals.
and contribute to achieving those goals through effective communication and collaboration.
This is all fantastic advice.
Good.
I'm starting to feel much more confident about tackling these interview questions,
Awesome.
but I know there are always those curveball questions
Lots.
that interviewers like to throw in.
Right.
You know, do you have any tips for handling those unexpected moments?
Of course.
Okay.
First and foremost, stay calm.
All right.
Take a deep breath and remember that the interviewer is likely trying to assess your problem-solving skills,
Okay.
your ability to think on your feet.
Or even your sense of humor.
Yeah.
So it's not about having the perfect answer.
Yeah. But rather about demonstrating your ability to handle the unexpected
Yes.
with grace and composure.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to ask for clarification if you need it.
Uh-huh.
And take a moment to gather your thoughts before responding.
And sometimes a little humor can go a long way in diffusing a tense situation.
For sure.
I like that approach.
Good.
It's about showing them that you're adaptable, resourceful.
And able to handle anything they throw your way. Precisely. Now, let's dive into a specific curveball question
Okay.
that you might encounter in a poultry catcher interview.
Right.
If you could be any type of poultry, which one would you be and why?
Okay. That one definitely caught me off guard. But I'm intrigued.
Okay.
What's the thought process behind answering a question like that?
Well, it's not about giving the right answer.
Okay.
It's about showcasing your quick thinking,
Nah.
your ability to connect seemingly unrelated concepts, and even your sense of humor.
So how could someone approach this question in a way that's both clever and relevant to the role?
Well, you could choose a type of poultry that aligns with qualities that are important for a catcher.
Right.
For example, you could say, I'd be a Rhode Island Red because they're known for being hardy, adaptable, and good foragers, qualities that are essential for a successful catcher.
Oh, I like that.
Right.
It's a playful answer,
Huh?
but it subtly highlights your understanding of the job requirements.
Exactly.
Or you could choose a type of poultry that's known for its calm demeanor.
And ability to stay cool under pressure.
Right.
For example, you could say, I'd be a silky chicken
Right.
because they're known for their gentle nature and their ability to handle stress well, qualities that are essential for working in a fast-paced, sometimes chaotic environment like a poultry farm.
That's another great example.
Yeah,
It shows that you can think critically and connect seemingly unrelated concepts to the role.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to inject a little humor into your answer.
Right.
After all, a positive attitude and a sense of humor can go a long way in any job.
This is all fantastic advice.
Good.
I feel like we've covered so much ground already, and I'm sure our listeners are feeling much more prepared for their poultry catcher interviews.
I hope so.
But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear more about the realities of the work environment.
Okay.
What can someone expect in terms of the working conditions and challenges?
That's a great question.
You know, it is important to be realistic about what this job entails.
It is.
Now remember, poultry catchers work primarily on poultry farms,
Right.
which means you'll be spending a lot of time outdoors.
Yes.
So, rain or shine, you've got to be ready to work,
You do.
and you need to be prepared for the physical demands of the job.
Yeah, it involves a lot of bending, lifting, and repetitive movements.
It can be physically demanding and sometimes tiring,
It can.
right? So good physical fitness is a must.
Absolutely.
And here's something that's super important. Biosecurity measures.
Oh, yes.
Poultry farms have strict protocols in place
Uh-huh.
to prevent the spread of diseases, so you'll need to be meticulous about following those guidelines.
They're very strict for a reason.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It's about protecting the health of the birds.
And the entire operation.
Exactly.
Exactly. And finally, be prepared for potentially long hours, early mornings, late nights,
Okay.
and even weekend work, depending on the needs of the farm.
So it's not always a 9-to-5 job.
It's not.
But if you're passionate about working with animals and contributing to the poultry industry, it sounds like it could be a very rewarding career.
It can be.
Absolutely. And here's where it gets even more interesting.
Okay.
Let's talk about the potential for growth and advancement in this role.
Right. There's actually more to this job than meets the eye.
So where can this role take you?
Well, the RoleCatcher Career Guide outlines some really exciting possibilities. As you gain experience and expertise in poultry handling and management, you could move into supervisory roles, leading and training teams of catchers.
So there's definitely room for leadership development.
Absolutely.
And for those who are really ambitious, there's always the option of pursuing further education or training
That's right.
in poultry science or agriculture.
Yeah.
That could open up even more doors within the industry.
Exactly.
Maybe even leading to roles like hatchery worker or farm manager.
Right.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of networking
Networking is key.
and building relationships within the poultry farming community,
Oh, yeah.
right? Joining professional associations, attending industry events,
Yeah.
and connecting with experienced professionals can lead to new opportunities and insights.
Absolutely.
And as we discussed earlier, RoleCatcher provides tools to help with that networking process.
They do.
That's right. Their network management features can be a game changer for organizing contacts and staying connected with key people in the industry.
Now, before we move on to our final part, I want to loop back to RoleCatcher
Okay.
and highlight a couple of other tools that can be incredibly helpful in your career journey.
Let's hear it.
Well, they have something called Career Compass,
Uh-huh.
which is designed to help you explore different career paths that align with your skills, interests, and ambitions.
Okay.
It's a great way to get a broader perspective on your options,
That sounds really valuable.
especially if you're just starting out or considering a career change.
I'm always curious about exploring different career paths, even within the same industry.
And they also have those network management tools we discussed earlier,
Right.
which can help you organize your contacts, track your interactions, and leverage your network more effectively.
Wow. It's like they've thought of everything to help you succeed.
They really have.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to remember that you're not just trying to get a job, you're building a career. And tools like RoleCatcher can help you navigate that path with more confidence and clarity.
This is all great advice.
Good.
Now, I'm eager to hear about some additional relevant questions that might come up in a poultry catcher interview.
Okay.
What else should our listeners be prepared for?
Sure. You know, it's fascinating
Yeah.
how even seemingly unrelated interview questions can reveal a lot about a candidate
Oh, yeah?
and their suitability for the poultry catcher role.
Hmm.
It's all about connecting those dots
Yeah.
and showing how your skills and experiences translate into success on the farm.
That's what's so intriguing about this deep dive.
Yeah.
You know, we're uncovering those hidden connections
Yeah.
and helping our listeners understand that every question is an opportunity to, tell their story,
Yeah.
showcase their potential.
Right. So let's continue exploring those interview scenarios.
Okay.
One question that often comes up
Uh-huh.
is, What are the potential challenges of being a catcher?
Hmm.
Now, this might seem like a negative question, but it's actually a chance to demonstrate
yeah.
your understanding of the role's realities and your problem-solving abilities.
So it's about being honest and acknowledging the difficulties
Yes.
while also showcasing my resilience and resourcefulness.
Exactly. And remember those catcher FAQs we discussed earlier?
Yeah.
They highlight some common challenges,
Okay.
such as the physically demanding nature of the work,
Right.
the potential for long and irregular hours,
Huh?
the need to handle live animals
Yeah,
safely and humanely,
of course.
and the strict adherence to biosecurity protocols.
So I could talk about my strategies for maintaining physical fitness,
Yes.
managing my time effectively,
Mhm.
staying calm under pressure, and prioritizing animal welfare and biosecurity.
That's a real good one.
It's about turning those potential challenges into opportunities
Exactly.
to showcase my strengths.
Now, let's shift our focus to
Uh-huh.
another important aspect of the interview,
All right.
research. Before you even step into that interview room,
Yeah.
take the time to learn as much as you can about the specific farm.
Okay, so I should do my homework.
Yes.
What kind of information should I be looking for?
Start with their website.
All right.
Look at the scale of their operation,
Okay.
the types of poultry they raise,
Mm-hmm.
their values and mission statement,
Mm-hmm.
and any awards or recognition they've received.
Got it.
You can even check out their social media presence
Okay.
to get a feel for their company culture.
And how can I use that information during the interview?
It's all about making connections.
Right.
Weave those details into your answers
Okay.
to demonstrate your genuine interest in that particular farm.
I see.
For example, you could say, I was really impressed by your farm's commitment to sustainable farming practices.
Oh, okay.
Or, I noticed that you recently implemented a new technology to improve animal welfare.
Shows that I'm not just looking for any job.
Exactly.
I'm genuinely interested in working at that farm. And speaking of demonstrating my interest, I know it's important to ask thoughtful questions at the end of the interview.
Oh, it's crucial.
What are some good questions to ask that showcase my knowledge and enthusiasm?
You're right. Asking questions shows that you're engaged and eager to learn.
Yeah.
Avoid asking things that could easily be answered with a quick Google search.
Okay.
Instead, focus on questions that delve deeper
All right.
into the farm's operations, their challenges, and their goals.
So I could ask about their plans for growth,
Yes.
their approach to employee training and development,
Uh-huh.
or the biggest challenges and rewards of working on that particular farm.
Those are all good ones.
It's about going beyond the surface level
Exactly.
and showing them that I'm thinking about the long-term fit.
Now let's talk about those curveball questions that
Okay.
interviewers sometimes throw in,
Yeah.
to see how you think on your feet.
Those can be nerve-wracking,
They can.
but I'm starting to understand that they're not always about having the right answer.
You're getting.
It's more about demonstrating my adaptability and problem-solving skills.
You're absolutely right. The key is to stay calm. Take a moment to gather your thoughts.
Uh-huh.
And don't be afraid to ask for clarification
What?
if you need it.
So it's okay to pause and think
Uh-huh.
before responding.
Yes.
I don't have to blurt out the first thing that comes to mind.
Exactly. And remember, those curveball questions
Yeah.
are often designed to assess your creativity,
Okay.
your ability to think outside the box,
Oh.
or even your sense of humor.
So don't be afraid to let my personality shine through.
Exactly.
And sometimes those unexpected questions
Yeah.
can lead to really interesting conversation
It can.
that help me stand out from other candidates.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, let's explore another question that might seem a bit out of left field.
Okay.
How important is the role of a catcher in poultry farms?
Okay.
This might seem obvious,
Yeah.
but the interviewer is looking for more than just a generic response.
Okay. So you want me to go beyond simply saying, it's an important job.
Exactly. This is your chance to showcase your understanding of the bigger picture and the catcher's crucial role in the farm's overall success.
I could talk about how catchers ensure the safe and humane handling of poultry, which contributes to animal welfare
Yes.
and the farm's productivity.
Right.
I could also mention the importance of biosecurity
Okay.
and how catchers play a vital role in preventing the spread of diseases.
You want to demonstrate
Yes.
that you understand the impact of your work on the entire operation, from the well-being of the birds
Right.
to the farm's profitability.
It's about showing that I'm not just there to collect a paycheck.
Exists.
I'm there to make a meaningful contribution
Yes,
to the team and the industry as a whole.
you got it. Now let's shift our focus to another crucial aspect of the interview,
Okay.
your appearance and demeanor. Yeah. Remember, first impressions matter.
Right. I don't want to show up looking like I just stepped out of the coop myself.
I know it might seem obvious, but it's worth reiterating.
Okay.
Aim for a neat, clean, and professional appearance.
Right.
You don't need to wear a suit.
Okay.
But clean clothes, well-groomed hair, and a positive attitude.
Can go a long way.
For sure.
And since I'll be working with animals, practical and comfortable clothing is also important.
Absolutely. You want to convey that you're ready to work.
Yeah.
And that you understand the demands of the role.
Right.
And don't forget about your body language.
Okay.
Maintain good eye contact, smile, sit up straight.
And project an air of confidence and enthusiasm.
Exactly.
It's about showing them that I'm engaged, eager to learn.
And excited about the opportunity. Yeah. Exactly. Now, let's tackle a question that often comes up towards the end of an interview.
Right.
Do you have any questions for me?
Yes. This is my chance to turn the tables and ask some insightful questions of my own.
Precisely. And it's an opportunity to gather information that will help you make an informed decision if you're offered the job.
So it's not just about impressing them.
Right.
It's about getting a better understanding of the farm and the role to see if it's the right fit for me.
Exactly. What kinds of questions are you thinking of asking?
Well, based on what we've discussed so far, I might ask about the farm's specific biosecurity protocols.
Okay.
Their approach to animal welfare, or the opportunities for training and advancement within the company.
Those are all excellent questions.
They demonstrate that I'm thinking beyond just getting the job.
Exactly.
And considering the long-term aspects of my career.
And I might even ask about the team dynamics, company culture.
Or the biggest challenges and rewards of working on that particular farm.
Right. It's about getting a feel for what it would be like to actually work there.
You want to make sure it's a place where I can thrive and grow.
Exactly. Now, let's shift gears and talk about a topic that can sometimes be a bit tricky to navigate.
Right.
Salary expectations.
Ah, yes, the money talk.
It can be, but it's an important conversation to have. And the key is to be prepared.
Yeah.
And approach it in a professional and informed way.
So how should I handle salary questions during an interview?
First and foremost, do your research.
Right.
Use websites like Glassdoor or salary.com to get a sense of the average salary range for poultry catchers in your area. That way you can go into the conversation with a realistic understanding of the market value for the role.
I don't want to undervalue myself.
Right.
But I also don't want to price myself out of the job.
Exactly. And when the interviewer asks about your salary expectations, you could say something like, based on my research and experience, I'm targeting a salary range of X to Y.
And I should be prepared to justify that salary range.
Yes.
By highlighting my skills, experience.
And the value you bring to the table.
Exactly.
You want to showcase your worth.
Yeah.
And demonstrate that you've thought about your value in the marketplace.
And if I'm not comfortable giving a specific salary range, I can always deflect the question and say something like, I'm more focused on finding the right fit.
Yes.
In terms of the role and the company culture. And I'm confident we can discuss salary once we've determined that it's a good match.
That's great strategy.
It shows that I'm prioritizing the opportunity itself.
Right.
And that I'm open to negotiation.
It also buys you some time.
Yeah.
To gather more information about the role.
And the company's compensation structure.
Exactly. Now, let's move on to another crucial aspect of the interview process. Following up after the interview.
Ah, yes, the thank you note.
It's important.
I know it's important, but sometimes I struggle with what to say beyond a simple thank you.
It's more than just a formality.
Okay.
It's a chance to reiterate your interest in the role. Reinforce your qualifications.
And leave a lasting impression on the interviewer. So how should I approach the thank you note?
Within 24 hours of your interview, send a personalized email to each person you met with.
All right.
Express your gratitude for their time.
And reiterate my enthusiasm for the role.
Exactly. And you can use the thank you note as an opportunity to mention something specific that you discussed during the interview. Or to highlight a skill or experience that you think would be particularly valuable to the company.
It shows that I was paying attention.
Yes.
And that I'm genuinely interested in the opportunity.
And if you don't hear back from the interviewer after a week or so, it's perfectly acceptable to send a polite follow-up email.
So I can check in on the status of the hiring process and reiterate my interest in the position. Persistence and follow-through.
Those are valuable qualities in any candidate.
Now let's delve into a question
Okay.
that can be a bit challenging to answer.
All right.
What are your long-term career goals?
Yes. The future-focused question.
It's always a struggle for me
It can be.
to find that balance between ambition and realism.
It's about showcasing your vision for the future,
Yeah.
while also demonstrating that you've thought about how this particular role fits into your long-term plan.
So I should think about where I see myself in 5 or 10 years and how this poultry catcher position
Yeah,
could help me reach those goals.
exactly. Are you hoping to move into a supervisory role?
Hmm.
Do you want to specialize in a particular area of poultry farming?
Do you have entrepreneurial aspirations?
And you should be specific.
Right.
Instead of just saying, I want to grow with the company, you should outline your goals clearly
Yeah.
and connect them back to the skills and experiences you hope to gain as a poultry catcher.
And if the company offers any professional development opportunities,
Yes.
such as training programs or mentorship programs, be sure to mention that you're interested in taking advantage of those resources.
That's a good idea.
It shows that I'm committed to continuous learning.
And that you're looking for a company that invests in its employees. You got it. Now, let's tackle a question
Okay.
that can sometimes be a bit uncomfortable.
Right.
What are your weaknesses?
Oof. That one always makes me cringe, but I know it's a common interview question.
It is.
So I need to be prepared to answer it effectively.
Don't worry, it's not as scary as it seems.
Okay.
The key is to choose a weakness
Yeah.
that's both honest and manageable,
Yeah.
and to frame it in a positive light.
So I shouldn't choose a weakness that's critical to the job. Like, I'm not good at working with animals,
Right.
or I have a hard time following instructions.
Those weaknesses could raise red flags
Yeah.
for a poultry catcher position.
Instead, choose a weakness that I'm actively working to improve
Yes.
and explain the steps I'm taking to address it.
Exactly. For example, you could say,
Okay.
I sometimes struggle with time management, but I'm working on improving my organizational skills by using a planner and prioritizing my tasks.
That's a great example.
It shows that you're self-aware,
Uh-huh.
that you're committed to personal growth,
Yeah.
and that you're taking proactive steps to address your areas for improvement.
And maybe I could say, I tend to be a bit of a perfectionist, which can sometimes slow me down,
Okay.
but I'm learning to delegate tasks and focus on the bigger picture.
That's another excellent example.
It shows that I'm aware of my tendencies
Yeah.
and that I'm actively working to find a balance
Right.
between striving for excellence and maintaining efficiency.
This is all fantastic advice.
I know, Rob.
I'm starting to feel much more confident, Matt,
Yeah,
handling those tricky interview questions.
but I know that every interview is different,
Of course.
and there will always be unexpected moments. Do you have any final words of wisdom to help our listeners prepare for those unforeseen challenges?
Of course. First and foremost,
All right.
remember to be yourself.
Be myself.
Let your personality shine through.
Uh-huh.
And don't be afraid to showcase your passion for the work.
Authenticity is key.
Absolutely.
I don't want to sound like I'm reading from a script.
Right.
I want to connect with the interviewer on a human level.
And don't forget to practice, practice, practice.
Practice makes perfect.
Or at least as close to perfect as you can get.
And I know you've mentioned this before,
Yeah,
but RoleCatcher's AI tools can be a huge help
absolutely.
in that preparation process.
Those tools can provide invaluable feedback,
Yeah.
help you tailor your answers to specific job requirements,
Uh-huh.
and boost your confidence going into that interview.
It's like having a virtual coach in your pocket,
It is.
helping you prepare for every step of the interview process.
This is all fantastic advice.
I feel like we've equipped our listeners with a
Yes.
comprehensive toolkit
We have.
for tackling those poultry catcher interviews.
I agree. And remember, the most important thing
Okay.
is to be yourself.
Be myself
Showcase your skills and experience.
and demonstrate my genuine passion for the role.
Exactly. With a little preparation, a positive attitude.
And the help of resources like RoleCatcher,
You'll be well on your way to landing that poultry catcher job.
launching a rewarding career in the poultry industry.
This has been an incredibly insightful deep dive.
I'm feeling much more confident
Good.
about the prospect of acing a poultry catcher interview.
Awesome.
And I bet our listeners are too. We're back for the final part of our deep dive.
Into the world of poultry catchers.
I'm feeling pumped,
Me too.
ready to share some final nuggets of wisdom,
Yes.
help our listeners absolutely crush those interviews.
We've covered a lot of ground already,
We have.
but there are always a few more tips and tricks.
All right, so what are some final pieces of advice we can offer?
Okay.
to help our listeners really stand out.
To land that poultry catcher role,
Yeah.
one thing I always emphasize
Okay.
is the power of storytelling.
Storytelling.
When you're answering those interview questions, don't just give generic responses.
Right.
Weave in personal anecdotes and specific examples.
Okay.
It brings your skills and experiences to life.
That makes sense.
It makes you more memorable.
Stories are much more engaging.
Yeah.
And help the interviewer connect with you
They do.
on a personal level.
Yeah.
It's like painting a picture
Exactly.
instead of just reading a list of ingredients.
And when you're telling a story,
Yeah.
make sure it has a clear beginning, middle, and end.
Okay.
Set the scene, describe the challenge you faced,
Uh-huh.
explain the actions you took.
And highlight the positive outcome.
Right.
And of course, connect that story back to the poultry catcher role.
Absolutely.
Show them how those experiences
Yes.
have prepared you
Yeah.
for the demands of the job.
For example.
Yeah. If they ask about your teamwork skills,
Uh-huh.
you could tell a story about a time when you had to collaborate effectively with others on a project,
Okay.
maybe in a previous job,
Uh-huh.
or even a volunteer experience.
Okay.
Describe the situation, the roles everyone played,
Uh-huh.
and how your contributions led to a successful outcome.
It's about showing them.
You're not just talking the talk, you've
Yeah.
actually walked the walk.
Right.
And remember those behavioral interview questions we talked about?
Yes.
The ones that start with, tell me about a time when,
Having a few go-to stories ready.
can really help you shine in those moments.
Right.
It's like having a mental toolbox
Yeah.
filled with stories.
That showcase different skills and qualities.
Exactly. So before the interview,
Yeah.
think about those common behavioral questions
Okay.
and identify a few stories from your past that demonstrate those desired traits.
Okay.
Maybe you have a story about a time when you went above and beyond,
A story about a time when you solved a problem.
or a story about a time when you handled a difficult situation
Yes.
with grace and professionalism.
It's about being prepared
Yeah.
to share those stories
Yeah.
in a way that's relevant and engaging.
Speaking of difficult situations, those questions about times when you made a mistake
Uh-huh.
can be a bit nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Any tips for handling those?
It's important to remember
Okay.
that everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah.
The interviewer isn't trying to catch you out.
Right.
They want to see how you handle setbacks
Okay.
and learn from your experiences.
So it's about being honest
Yes.
and taking responsibility.
While also demonstrating growth and self-awareness.
Exactly.
Choose a mistake that was relatively minor
Okay.
and that doesn't reflect poorly on your character or judgment.
Right.
And don't dwell on the negative.
Okay.
Focus on what you learned from the experience and the steps you took to improve.
For example, I could say, in a previous role, I once forgot to close a gate properly, which allowed a few chickens to escape.
Okay.
I learned from that experience the importance of double-checking my work and paying attention to even the smallest details.
That's a great example.
It shows that I'm accountable,
Yeah.
for my actions, that I take safety seriously, and that I've learned from my mistakes.
Right.
So it's about turning those potentially negative experiences
Yes.
into opportunities for growth and learning.
And remember, RoleCatcher's AI tools can be a great resource
Yeah.
for practicing those tricky interview questions.
Okay.
You can get feedback on your responses.
Identify areas for improvement and build your confidence.
Right.
It's like having a virtual coach in your pocket,
Yes.
helping you prepare for every step of the interview process.
Now, I know we've talked a lot about specific questions and strategies,
We have.
but what about the overall mindset
Yeah.
going into a poultry catcher interview?
What's the most important thing for our listeners to remember?
I would say the most important thing
Okay.
is to be yourself.
Be myself.
Let your personality and your passion shine through.
Authenticity is key.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Show the interviewer that you're genuinely interested in the role,
Uh.
that you're eager to learn.
And that you're excited about the prospect of working with poultry.
And don't be afraid to let your enthusiasm show.
Yeah.
After all, this is a job that requires a lot of energy and dedication.
You want to convey.
That you're ready to roll up your sleeves and get your hands dirty.
This has been an incredible deep dive.
It has.
I feel like we've covered everything.
We have.
From those tricky interview questions.
To the realities of the work environment.
And the potential for career growth.
I agree. We've equipped our listeners with the knowledge and the tools they need to approach those poultry catcher interviews with confidence.
And remember, those resources from RoleCatcher can be a game changer in your preparation.
They can.
So take advantage of those tools.
Practice your responses and get ready to shine in that interview.
Absolutely.
And most importantly, believe in yourself.
Believe in myself.
You've got this.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of poultry catchers. We'll be back next time with another fascinating topic. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep chasing your dreams.